Hold on. We haven't read all this. Seeking K. Walker here. Dear Mrs. Foster, today I went to the famous refuge in the Silberspieg mountain where that picture was painted, the one that Kate Walker seems to have become so obsessed about since her escape from the mine. I was expecting it to be one heck of a long journey to reach the refuge, but on the way I bumped into a group of alpinists and technicians from the Institute of Forensic Medicine of Vaghen. It turned out they were also heading from near the refuge, more precisely to the foot of the mountain pass known as Devil's Path, to carry out some macabre work? Whatever. I'll spare you the grim details. Anyway, they kindly offered me a lift to the refuge in their helicopter. So I assume the guy that we always see with the cigarette or cigar butts, and the guy that stays in another room in the guest house is this, detective. Once there, I made the acquaintance of the manageress of the place, a sour-tempered old woman named Lenny. Sly, and blah blah, old-timer. She wasn't exactly an easy witness to question, I can tell you. All the more so as our meeting took place under the watch of a kind of hired help who must assist the old woman on a daily basis. He was a colossus of a guy and was careful to make himself visible to me while at the same time keeping his face well in their semi-darkness at the common room. What? We didn't even see the guy. Typical intimidation tactics, which of course were totally useless against me. I mean, I'm from New York, right? I managed to winkle the confirmation out of the old dame that Kate Walker had been to the refuge, and I had questioned the old lady of an event that took place in the summer of 1937. Fräulein Leni ended up caring and told me everything she knew. She spoke a lot about certain Dana Roze, that's the young woman on the Miss Walker's painting. She had apparently fallen for an alpinist by the name of Leon during that summer. All this was during preparation for a secret expedition known as Origin, financed by the Brown Shadow. It was recorded on film by a female filmmaker in vogue at the time, a certain Junta Steinhoff. Die Weiße Höhle. Warte. Apparently this Leon, following disappearance with the Brown Shadow militia man, was forced by the fascists to go with the expedition to a faraway land they called Baltayar, so causing a painful separation with this Dana Roze. Armed with this knowledge, Kate Walker then continued her research the following day at the Academy of Music of Vaghen. That's where I'm headed now to continue my investigation. What exactly he's investigating? What exactly? Can someone explain to me? I believe he was hired by Olivia or Kate's mother while she was still alive to find Kate Walker and bring her home. Wasn't that the plan? And he's just like one step always behind. Who is still paying him? Or he's also a bit sick and obsessed now with Kate Walker. What is this? And why we get to read his diary, his notes? I don't get it. Dear Mrs. Foster, I hope... This is Olivia Foster, right? I hope this finds you well. I must admit that last letter left me slightly confused. So Miss Walker called you a few days before you sent it, right? What? I must admit that the letter left me slightly confused. So Miss Walker called you a few days before you sent it, right? It's deplorable that she has once again refused to conduct herself reasonably and instead become hostile towards you. I fully understand your reservation as to trying to make Miss Walker return to the USA. Can anyone really help someone who refuses to be helped? Is there a limit to the number of times you can be pushed away by the very person you are trying to help? Believe me, Olivia, these are valid questions and questions that I frequently ask myself too. Haven't I too been threatened hardly by Miss Walker and her various travel buddies? I was only trying to help her. Well, it was not in this game, it was in the third game, but I don't remember where. Like, I faintly remember the third game because I find it that bad, I'm trying to forget it. So I don't... Did we see the snake? Maybe. But it's important to put things into perspective. Kate Walker is still mourning. In fact, she is a mourning not just for her mother, but also for her friends, Katusha and Oscar. When she is alone in the middle of the night, who knows what terrible memories come to find her? I suspect it's these feelings that are making her hostile to those who are really trying to act in her best interest. Wasn't it the case when she made that night call to you? I mean, if he is aware of that, why he hasn't made himself present to Kate Walker and be like, hey, would you come back? I mean, why are they still trying to do that? I don't get it. It's over, man, it's over. So with all due respect, no, I cannot give up the hunt for Miss Walker. So I guess it's just too bad. I have to go on now. Go on now without the generous patronage of yours good self and your husband Dan. My latest lead shows that Kate Walker went to the Academy of Music, and so that's where I'm heading today to try to find her. I don't understand how this exists. If he is aware that... Okay, well, he knows from Olivia's side that Kate called. He's so stupid. And now he's just keep going without getting paid. Oh man. Alright. Yeah, where can I go? There?
Looks like this district has been more modernized than the antique shop district. Oh no, not this bullshit again.
Oh dear. Help! Help! Come on! Help! Put me down!
Oscar? Bet you can't catch it!
Don't you dare! Put it down! Right now!
All right then.
Oscar! Are you all right?
I had a bit of a bumpy ride, but I am glad to see you, Kate Walker.
Oscar, oh, I've missed you so much.
I say, this display of emotion is most unreasonable, Kate Walker. I do hope you don't plan such profusion every time I change bodies.
It's just that I've been worrying about you. Where were you, Oscar?
Well, the mechanical instinct of my host took me for a ride, all across town. It took me the whole night to tame it, and that's when I bumped into those little rascals.
Yeah, lucky I was in the area, huh?
Quite. So, Kate Walker, what has happened since we parted at the Balaton River?
Maybe we should just sit down for a second, Oscar. This might take a while. And that's when Demoiselle Letty gave me the address of the Music Academy in this neighborhood.
I see, Kate Walker.
You must think I'm crazy, huh? Running after that girl, Dana, who must have died ages ago.
Well, Kate Walker, you know I have difficulty understanding illogical thought patterns. But in the end, what I do understand is that you need to find her. Is that correct, Kate Walker?
Yes, that is correct, Oscar. I'm glad you're taking it so well.
I don't see any fundamental difference between crossing Europe in search of mammoths, traveling on ostriches in an irradiated zone, or following your double. These are not things an automaton such as I take into consideration.
Any other thoughts, Oscar?
Well, I guess I could ask you where we are heading, but truth be told, it doesn't really matter. I will follow you wherever you lead, and for as long as you require my services, Kate Walker. That's what an automaton does.
Thank you, Oscar.
Oh dear, I hope you're not going to become physical, are you?
No, I was just going to give you a pat on the back.
I would rather you refrain from having such thoughts. I am not a dog, you know. Whatever next?
Anyway, we'd better get going, Oscar, and you'd better keep out of sight.
Oh dear, I don't suppose I have any choice.
I'm so glad he's back.
Would you mind using a bigger bag in the future? Is it really necessary for me to be shut up in here, Kate Walker?
Sorry, Oscar, but I don't want to run the risk of losing you again.
Okay, a few things I would like to say again. He mentioned like, yeah, what's the difference like between following your double or crossing the Europe? Okay, the first game, she was crossing the Europe, she was trying to find Hans because it was basically her job to do that, to find Hans. So that's why she did it. And then she tasted the taste of the adventure, of the seeing new places, of doing something unusual, meeting these all new people and automatons, and discovering all this technology and living her life basically. And in the end of the first game, I mean, if you didn't see it, you should watch it, but I'm gonna quickly explain what happened in the end. She had a choice to go back to New York because she achieved her goal. She found Hans and he signed the contract to sell the fabric. A factory, sorry. So she was supposed to go back to New York, back to her job, to her ex-fiance, to her bad friend, Olivia, and to her mother. And she decided not to. She decided to continue to travel with Hans to help him to reach his dream. And it was emotional. She didn't want to come back to her past life because there was nothing that could hold her, that was waiting for her in New York. So that's why she decided to continue. What this is, like this goal is bullshit. She just made a promise to her friend in mind that they were captured in, and that's why she goes to find her double from the painting they found in the train in the mine they were slaves in. This sounds a bit bullshitty to me, if you ask me. Like the first two games, they made sense. Okay, there was a reason, like there was a way to get to understanding, like my previous life was shit, so I'm gonna go and follow dream. And this is just some bullshit. That's what I wanted to say. Yeah.
Victims of the genocide committed by the fascists during the Second World War. Oh, so many deaths. I hope Dana made it through. Bullet holes. The brown shadow must have shot people dead here. How horrible.
Like the few pluses that the game has, it has the graphics, it has the beautiful views, nice voice acting, bearable face animation, and face animation in general, animation in general, but it's just based on the original game and doing something terribly wrong with it, involving this World War II history and Nazis and some other weird stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I enjoy the game visually, but the story-wise, this just, yeah, I'm questioning it. Oh, that's that. Okay. No commentary on that. And you might say, well, this is a new game, you shouldn't compare it to the original game. Well, they shouldn't have named it Syberia and take the Kate Walker as a character, as a main character, so I wouldn't be comparing, but they did what they did, so I have to compare it, because it's connected to the original game, because they keep mentioning it over and over again. And the first game was emotional, like you could follow the emotional attachment between Kate and other characters during her travels, and it was just beautiful. And this is just, yeah, okay, I can understand her attachment to the Oscar. They've been together for a very long time, but the goal is still bullshit. Just like attachment to Katusha, her friend in the prison. We just... Oh, am I already going in? Is it? Okay. Well, again, I couldn't have known it's already the Music Academy because it looks pretty abandoned. But again, the game... I thought this is the Music Academy. Looks fancier.
Wow. Pity I don't have time for some sightseeing.
But the game just fucked up my goals, apparently. It is a weird thing to have goals in an adventure game. The game's supposed to be adventurous. You don't know what awaits you. You don't know what you encounter. That's the point of the adventure. But here, no, you get told, do this, do that. And, yeah, it kind of spoils for me a bit. The experience.
That brand was everywhere in New York when I left. And now they've even got branches.
Branches here. Maybe. Joshua Denke. For outstanding performance on effort. Employee of the month. What is it supposed to be, like Starbucks or something? Hello? Oh my god, did she get stuck? No way. I made her get stuck. Oh, okay, good.
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag, Fräulein. What can I do for you?
How come the square is so well known?
Because of the mechanical orchestra there. It used to be quite the attraction. Every year the Academy's best student would play along with it, as did renowned musicians from around the world.
Oh, that sounds intriguing. Is it scheduled to play today?
I'm afraid not. Several years back, the town council discussed computerizing it. But the plan never went through, and no one has ever heard its music since.
Do you know anything about the Vaghen Music Academy?
It's the large building across the square there. Used to be quite renowned worldwide, actually.
But not anymore?
Well, from what I gather, hardly anyone studies there nowadays. I wouldn't be surprised if it were closed.
Well, what happened?
Budget cuts from the town council, I guess. The academy can't be very lucrative.
I see. There are a lot of tourists on the square.
Indeed. It attracts thousands of customers every year. A veritable boon for us retail shops.
And for the people of the town, too?
I wouldn't know about that. I live on the outskirts, as do most of the people. What with the rents being as high as they are here, you know?
Thank you. I should go now.
Auf Wiedersehen, Fräulein. Come back again.
Looks like they've tried to blend all these new shops into the original facades. It doesn't make it any less a tourist trap, though. An automaton musician. Looks exactly like Hans's style, like at Borgstadt. Wow. Pity I don't have time for some sightseeing.
So this is a bit annoying thing that the game cuts off my goals if I don't follow, if I don't do what I'm supposed to do, you know. Like, I didn't know I was supposed to go there.
Strange.
Strange. Well, I bet we're gonna fix it. Due to the forthcoming computerization of the mechanical orchestra of the Musician Square, playing this piano is strictly forbidden until further notice. Vaghen console 2005. And they engraved it in metal.
I can't open it like this. It looks like it's been mechanically sealed. I don't think I'll be able to open it directly.
Not now. Later. So again, we kind of like missed her thoughts on the events. Just because I didn't know what building was supposed to go in and I chose the right one. And it just kind of skipped. You know? This is a bit of a shame. Like adventure game, I don't need to be followed by hand. Adventure game's supposed to be adventurous. I suppose I should be able to investigate and explore things in the order that I want, and I think is logical. And yeah, and that's a bit stupid that they give the game gives me objectives and then I fail them because I didn't explore in the order the game wanted me to. Vaghen marks 60 years of liberation with Music Academy anniversary celebration, a ceremony that drew hundreds of people into the streets of Vaghen, culminates with a solemn tribute to the heroes of the liberation of Vaghen Musician Academy, followed by a jubilant outdoor ball of the Music Square. The liberation shook Osterhal and renewed hope in the world, said the mayor of Vaghen in an address at the symbolic Music Academy, where he decorated veterans and resistance members including Mark, Thomas, Jules, Marquand, and Yvonne Leclerc. The Music Academy, a century-old teaching establishment before the war, became a commandatur of the Brown Shadow before hosting Allied headquarters after the liberation. Upon the departure of the Allies and thanks to the finance from the Marshall Plan, it was able to recover its initial role as a place of musical learning. It was on a more somber note, however, that the rector of the academy consulted that the drop in number of inscriptions, along with the continued decrease of council grants over a period of 2 decades due to austerity policies maintained by successive councils, have plunged the academy into a grave financial crisis. We warned that the academy is not on the brink of bankruptcy and indicates that the closure of the academy is imminent. Vaghen's Tribune, so its liberation was the last in a series of 60th anniversary commemorations by Osterhal, marking critical moments leading to the capitulation of the Brown Shadow at the end of the World War II. Very interesting. Not. Oh. Eviction notice, Town Council, Vaghen Osterhal, the Music Academy, Music Square, Vaghen Osterhal, 15 October 2005. Dear Sirs, pursuant to the provisions of IRD, whatever, you are hereby given an eviction notice, a notice to vacate on or before 26 November 2005 to premises owned by the Town Council of Vaghen, which premises are now occupied by you. The reason for this eviction notice is the failure to pay rent due in areas when demanded pursuant. A demand to pay rent has served upon you on 15th September, or if you refused and neglected to pay rent, blah blah, you are hereby notified of your right to avoid this eviction by payment prior to expiration of this notice of all the arrearages. 10:15 a.m. I gave in hand to Mr. Maximilian Mahler a true copy of the above original notice. Mr. Wolfgang Schneider, Mayor of Vaghen. So the academy is like a private school. Okay.
All these letters. They look like letters of formal notice. They probably haven't been paying the bills for some time. So that's the famous Vaghen Music Academy? It's not what I was expecting.